What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, which means it's the start of another week in the NFL. As you see, we're a three-person tonight. Chris was under the weather, so whatever Anthony had, it's going around in the locker room or whatever. I don't know, but Anthony feels better. Chris was under the weather, so we're running the cover three tonight. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Do us a favor if you could. Hit the thumbs up because you know what helps us out. Subscribe. Closing in on 6K, baby. Let's go, 6K. Big shout-outs to Sleeper and SeatGeek for sponsoring Giants Collective. As always, you can check us out on TikTok and Instagram. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon, all that good stuff. You listen to us on Apple. If you could leave a 5-star review, that would be amazing as well. So here we are. We are on a one-game winning streak, which is great because we're on a winning streak right now. As Anthony and I were talking about beforehand, should have beat the damn Cowboys. I mean, I can't even imagine the level of confidence we'd have. The only thing is with the Cowboys, if we beat the Cowboys, do you think that Jackson Dart would have started? Do you think he would have started? Because somebody brought that up. I'm like, that's actually a good point. If we were 1-2, do you think they make the change? Do you think we could have beat Los Angeles with Russ? Like, I mean,
no to that, but I think if it still went down the way it did in week 3 against the Chiefs, they would have made the change regardless.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
We should be 2-2. They should be 0-4. Fuck them. Lucky. Yeah. That's the way it goes. But anyway, we are in a one-game winning streak. And obviously, Jackson Dart did what he had to do. The first drive was imperative, went right down the field, scored. You saw Brian Daboll is like madly in love with this kid. It's like fatal attraction level of I get a little worried for Jackson Dart sometimes. Luckily, he's got Skattebo to protect him. I think Skat's okay. But so obviously going into this game against the Saints, they have not won a game. They're 0-4. And when we looked at the schedule, out of the first 5 games, if we were picking, we probably thought this was going to be our best chance to win. Obviously, we don't have any Malik Neighbors, and that obviously is a big loss. But Adriana, what do you expect from Jackson Dart in this second start?
I expect Brian Daboll to put a little bit more on his plate. So I think they're going to try and open up the passing game this week, knowing that the Saints defense as a whole is not one of the better ones in the league. They've struggled against the pass and the run. So that's really what I'm looking for this week, is I want to see them call plays that play to one of his strengths that they weren't able to do with Russell Wilson, which is utilize the middle of the field. So I want to see Jackson be able to get through his reads, which we saw him do last week. And, you know, the Saints don't have the type of edge rushers or the talented defense that the Chargers have. So I feel like if he was able to make those progressions last week, he should be able to do it even more so this week, knowing, you know, Andrew Thomas is getting the full reps again and the offensive line is finally gelling. So I really want to see him utilize the middle of the field. I want to see him continue to be accurate, keeping the ball out of harm's way. And the biggest thing I want to see him do is also keep himself out of harm's way. He said that, you know, the stiff arm that he did was probably not the best move, and he thought about it afterwards. So I think between learning that, like, it's okay for him to take hits, but he's going to have to be smart about some of the ones that he takes versus the ones that he doesn't, slides or goes out of bounds, etc. I want to see if he can kind of zone into that a little bit more this week and just really focus on, you know, getting down in certain instances and try and avoid those hits, at least to the head, right? So he can, you know, doesn't have to worry about being yanked out to go into concussion protocol for a minute. But it sounds like his hamstring is good to go. So I expect him to be running the ball. I expect to see a big RPO offense again. I just think they're going to utilize a little more in the passing game. And I want to see him spread the ball around. They don't have Malik Neighbors. You don't have a crutch now. You got to get the ball to Wandale, Theo, Belly, Slayton, Bo Collins, Jalen Hyatt, whoever's on the field, you better put the ball in their hands. So I'm excited. I think he's going to be able to do that, especially more so than Russ was able to. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
And as always, big shout out again to SeatGeek. They sponsor this portion of Giants Collective. If you want to go check out Jackson Dart and the brand new Giants offense, you can get 10% off your tickets at SeatGeek by entering that promo code Giants Collective 10. So check it out. Go watch them play the Eagles on Thursday night. That ought to be fun. He's going to get an indoctrination that evening. I can tell you that. It's going to be the toughest team he's faced without question.
Oh, I'll be there. Can't wait.
Yeah, nice. But we'll get to that when we get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We got a game against the Saints. Anthony, what do you expect to see from Jackson Dart in his second start?
Similar to what Adriana just mentioned, I want to see more put on his plate. I want to see Brian Dable actually let him turn the ball loose. He only took the 1 or 2 deep shots that he took in the last game, one of them being on a free play, just throwing it up to grabs. And of course, on that play, Neighbors got injured. But for the most part, it was all underneath route concepts, quick passing concepts, and a lot of running concepts for the quarterback, and a lot of handing the ball off to Skattebo. This week against a bad New Orleans Saints defense with a particularly bad secondary, I want to see him take some shots downfield, push the ball into some tighter windows, and make some more advanced throws further down the field, because he looked good last week. He didn't make any mistakes and put the ball in harm's way, but he didn't do anything that was flashy either in the passing game. Nothing that tells you when you go up against an elite defense, he can beat you over the top anyway. He didn't do any of that last week. He won with his legs. He won with quick decision-making, and those are great things to do, especially in your first start going up against an elite defense like the Los Angeles Chargers. But now against a lesser defense, I want to see him throw that ball downfield, take advantage of a poor secondary that features, if you guys remember, Isaac Yiadom is starting at corner for the Saints this week. This is unbelievable to me. I forgot that guy existed, didn't know he was still in the league, but he's starting opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry for the New Orleans Saints. So when you've got Kool-Aid McKinstry, second-year cornerback who's been struggling, and Isaac Yiadom of all people in that secondary, I want to see Jackson Dart throw the ball downfield.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I honestly think Dable kind of kept it simple for Dart because he was going against an elite defense. It was his first start in the NFL. And, again, he wasn't flashy. He threw for 111 yards. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, but he didn't turn the ball over. You know what that reminds me of? And I love, because Eagle fans always get pissed off at me when I say this. That's Jalen Hurts. I'll never understand why Eagle fans get so mad when you tell them Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback. It doesn't matter. He wins. He's an elite winner. That's what matters. Jackson Dart plays like that, where he's giving you 2 total touchdowns. He's using his legs. He's not making mistakes in the pass game. He's making the correct reads, and he's doing what's asked of him, and you win the game. Who gives a damn? However, I do think we have to see more complexity in the passing game and the running game and everything else. You don't have Malik Neighbors. You don't have your number 1 receiver. And this Saints defense, as you both mentioned, is not very good. It's not Los Angeles. So I do expect them to open up the passing game a lot more. And like Adriana said, he really has to spread the ball around. You can't really just zone in on one guy. You don't have that number 1 receiver. There's nobody that can replace Malik Neighbors, and it doesn't look like the Giants are going out and actively looking for anybody to replace him. So they'll do that with whatever they have. But Darius Slayton got to step up. Wan'Dale Robinson has got to step up. Bo Collins has to make some plays. And again, this is just me being an insane fan. I got to be one of the last people that still believes in Jalen Hyatt. I got to be one of the last people that believes this kid can still play. Well, now he's going to have an opportunity. And this is his opportunity to shine. So if there's anything I'm looking right at you, Jalen. If there's anything in there, if that guy that wore the Tennessee Volunteers uniform is that guy wearing a Giants uniform, show it to us. Please. We need you. We need that straight-on speed guy. We need that guy that can run past the defense. You want to take the top off a defense, that's the guy to do it with. So I expect to see more deeper throws. I expect him to use the middle of the field, and I still expect to see him use his legs. But you're also going to see Skattebo, our battering ram, without question. I think you're going to see a lot of Skattebo carries, and why wouldn't you? He's a lot of fun to watch. And again, these two bring a different energy to the Giants without question. So I'm excited to see what he does against the Saints. If we can win this, you get to 2-3. I think if you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year and said you're 2-3 after 5 games, you probably could live with that, or at least that's what you would have expected. So I'm excited to see what he does. And yeah, I agree with both of you. I think we're going to see him open it up a lot more this week than he did last week. Outside of, Jackson Dart, Anthony, what do the Giants got to do to beat this Saints team that's 0-4? Spence Rattler has never won a start either. He's 0-10 as a starter in the NFL. So what do they got to do to make him 0-11?
Well, part of the reason he's 0-10 is because he doesn't play particularly well under pressure. So just keep getting home. I mean, we saw it last week with Brian Burns getting another sack. He's got, I think it's 5 on the year. Is that right? 5 on the year in 4 games. He leads the NFL, or is tied for the lead. Brian Burns is playing at an all-pro level. He is incredible this season. But Kayvon Thibodeau may be playing at a Pro Bowl level. Abdul Carter He's creeping up to that Pro Bowl level. He looks like a defensive rookie of the year candidate for sure. So you've got those three guys, and of course, a former actual All-Pro in Dexter Lawrence. That's your key to winning every game this year. And it's definitely going to be the key to winning the game against an 0-10 starter in Spencer Rattler, who crumbles under pressure. So that's got to be the game plan defensively. Just get in his face and force him to make bad throws, because he'll make them. Spencer Rattler will put the ball in harm's way when he's under pressure. So if they can keep running those stunts, Shane Bowen's done a really good job of that. He deserves credit for it. He's run a lot more stunts over the last 2 weeks than he did in the first 2 weeks of the season. And that has resulted in quite a lot of pressure getting home over the last couple of weeks. And I saw that Spencer Rattler had an interesting quote where he kind of called out the Giants defense for not running a lot of disguised coverages or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think that Shane Bowen should take that and look at it and say, okay, we're going to throw this on the bulletin board. We're going to put that up for you guys to kind of digest. And then we're going to throw a bunch of disguised coverages and stunts and everything we can. We're just going to throw the whole kitchen sink at him. Like, let's just go get after Spencer Rattler and force him to get benched, force the Saints to put in Tyler Shuck, right? Like, that should be the goal for the Giants defense and for Shane Bowen this week, because this could be a real statement. You're on the road against the New Orleans Saints, the 0-4 New Orleans Saints, but nevertheless, you are in the Superdome. It's a tough environment to play in. You are a 1-3 team. Yes, going against an 0-4 team, but a 1-3 team, still not a good football team. But if you can go on a 2-game win streak here, if you could be a 2-3 football team, and you could go on the road and dominate defensively and embarrass this young quarterback, that could do a lot for you. That could do a lot for the momentum that you have going into some crucial divisional matchups that you have in 2 of the next 3 games. And it could do a lot to kind of shift the narrative here. And if you can help as a defense, help that young quarterback out. The quarterback has to do you some favors too. When you give him good field positioning, he's got to take advantage of it. Giants offense needs to be better in the red zone, that's for sure. But if this defense can just give the opportunity to Jackson Dart to get his second win, and if they can keep doing that all season long, it'll create a really nice synergy in that locker room that allows everybody to rally behind that young quarterback. So I really think it starts in the trenches for the Giants. Of course, the offensive line as well, but really on that defensive line, that defense can give the Giants an opportunity to win every game this year with that defensive line and that pass rush being so special. So it's got to start up front for the Giants. They have to rattle Spencer Rattler.
The one thing I saw somebody ask Carl Banks about that exact thing you're talking about, Spencer Rattler, on Twitter. And Carl said, yeah, we would have lined up in boring Tampa 2 and put belts to asses all game. So, yeah, I agree. Adriana, what do the Giants got to do to go 2-3 in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think pressuring the quarterback is one of the biggest things that they need to be doing, knowing, again, that Spencer is the type that will kind of put the ball in harm's way. And I think we've gotten to the point where some of the players on this roster have proven that they're capable of making interceptions. I want to see it from Paulson Adebo this week. If you're anywhere close to that ball, you have to come down with it. You've had at least 3 opportunities now where you could have brought in an interception. This is the week to do it, knowing that the edge rushers and Dexter Lawrence are going to get home. They're going to put pressure on him, and he's going to make bad decisions with the ball. So I really want to see them do that. I think the biggest thing is that I just want to see these players utilized to their strengths, and that's it. We saw Abdul Carter last week. He finally got 41 snaps at the edge rusher position, and he absolutely lit it up. Do it again. Allow those guys the opportunity to make plays by putting them in that position. And I think Drew Phillips had a really great game last week. I want to see him continue on that this week. I'd like to see some more turnovers on defense. I just think, that's one of the biggest reasons why we won that game last week. Would be even better if we could get a pick 6 this week, maybe. Try.
We're close. Dex was like this close.
The 2 of them, Drew Phillips too, ran it back to the 2-yard line. I'm like, oh, please. And then the offense, you have to be better in the red zone. I don't care what Mike Kafka does. You have to switch it up somehow and be more efficient in the red zone. It's absolutely unacceptable. I don't care what defense you're going against. And it's unacceptable that for the last 3 years, they have struggled in the red zone. They have Andrew Thomas back. The offensive line is functional. They have Scat, who's a good running back. They have Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger, who are well over 6 feet tall, who are capable of making plays. You've got Wan'Dale Robinson, who has been a pretty good red zone target for this team. You've got Darius Slayton. Like, the options are endless. I don't care if you have to have Jackson Dart run it 4 times. I mean, it's probably not the smartest, but just come up with something that maybe doesn't involve a trick play to your offensive lineman. Like, I'm down with being creative, do something different. You have to try different things and figure out what's not working here, but they really have to succeed in the red zone this week, every other week. They're just not going to win football games if they don't do that. So I'd really like to see that be something that has been a big focal point for them. It sounds like it has been. And I just want to see some changes made there that they actually have some success for once.
I agree with both of what you both said, because one talked about the defense, one talked about the offense. I definitely agree about the defense. They got a shitload of pressure. Now, obviously, they don't have Slater, and losing Joe Alt hurt them, but that's the way it is. The Saints don't have a Joe Alt. They don't have Rashawn Slater. They don't have that type of line there. As you mentioned, Anthony, Spencer Rattler gets rattled under pressure. I saw it happen with the Sooners. That's why he lost his job to Caleb Williams. I'm sure Adriana saw it with South Carolina. It's the same thing. Abdul Carter had 8 pressures. That is absolutely insanity at 5 quarterback hits. Like you mentioned, Brian Burns is playing at an all-pro level without question. I expect Shane Bowen to be ultra aggressive in this game. And why wouldn't you be? You're not going against a proverbial Pro Bowler like Justin Herbert. I mean, he's good at getting rid of the ball. You saw him get rid of the ball. The Giants, I don't know how many sacks they had. I don't think they had many, maybe 1 or 2. But he got hit, I don't know how many times, but he's able to get rid of the ball really quick. Rattler don't do that. And if Rattler makes the wrong read, that is when you might be able to get your pick 6 or flip field position and give the Giants a short field so that they can score. I do think Bowen has done a much better job at utilizing his players, putting them in positions to succeed. And that's why you've seen so many pressures. And against Kansas City, we had tons of opportunities to get turnovers. We just didn't get them. We did get them against Los Angeles. I almost called them San Diego. So I expect that defense to be aggressive, and I expect the Saints to turn the ball over a few times. And when they do, because they will, the Giants offense absolutely has to capitalize. We can't be settling for 3. We can't be going 4 and out and coming away with no points. This is a team that's 0-4. And yeah, we're 1-3. So it's not like we're the Eagles or we're the Bills. I get that. The record is what you say they are. But I think we're better than the Saints. The Saints are one of the worst teams in the league. These are teams you need to bury right away. Don't even let them think they're in the game. If you get a couple turnovers early, you can't kick 2 field goals. Go in there, punch in 2 touchdowns, make it 14-0, 17-0. And then the Saints will just be like, whatever. But if you let them hang around, let them get a lead, fuck around, you're going to find yourself probably losing, because we don't normally hang on at the end of games. Don't let these guys even think they have a chance. And again, that starts with a lot of the red zone offense, which is the next thing we want to discuss. And I know Adriana kind of mentioned it already. But Adriana, what do you think they have to do? Like, what would you change about the way they approach this offense? It's not even inside the 20. It's like inside the 10. It's almost like goal to go. They really struggle. What would you do? Like, how would you change this up if you're the Giants?
I think that I would focus on what has worked for them so far, which has not been a lot, but the biggest thing that they saw success with was that little shovel pass to Theo Johnson, and he ran it in for a touchdown. So I would like to see them try something like that, where you've got either the tight ends close or the running backs, like hand it off or do a little dump pass to any of the running backs. Like you can do that with Scat. You can do that with Turbo if they elevate him. Devin Singletary, probably capable of doing that as well. The only thing I worry about with him is the turnovers. But I really just feel like as a whole, they need to get the tight ends involved. They did it last week with Theo and it worked. Bellinger has proven time and time again that he is a good receiver for this team. And I just feel like when you have a big body target like that, if it works for Darren Waller and Tua Tagovailoa, it should work for us. Like, there's just no excuse, I don't think, to get the tight ends involved. They struggled last week against the run. I think you always have to try to run the ball in the red zone, and I don't think they should ever stop that. But if you try it back-to-back times and it's not working, then you got to switch it up and do something different. And like I said, I'm not completely anti the trick plays and things like that, but you're obviously struggling in the red zone. So maybe just try something that has a higher success rate, maybe, instead of just tossing it off to your rookie offensive lineman. I don't know.
Anthony, how would you change this offense up to make it more effective inside the 10-yard line?
I think they're starting to figure it out. They've definitely gotten better in recent weeks, and that coincides with them giving the ball to Cam Skattebo more. And I think that was the clear and obvious answer that everybody saw. If you want to score more down around the goal line, why don't you just hand it off to your angry, supercharged running back, right? Just give it to the rookie who wants to punch people in the face. Or what did he say on Sights and Sounds? I want to
I
run through his
fucking face.
Yeah. Give it to that guy. He wants to get into the
Yep.
end zone. He wants to run through the defender's fucking face. So hand him the football and let him do that. That's the obvious solution. But obviously, sometimes defenses are going to key in on that. They're going to load the box and they're going to make it difficult. And the Giants don't have the best offensive line in the world. So what else can you do? Well, I think you can scheme guys open. And that's something that the Giants really struggle to do in the red zone compared to many of the other teams in the NFL. And it really confuses me too, because Mike Kafka, where does he come from? Kansas City. He was the quarterback's coach with the Chiefs. He watched Andy Reid dial up these offensive play calls in the red zone that were extraordinary year in and year out. He still does it. Even against the Giants, he was doing it. I mean, when the Chiefs are in the red zone, you always feel like they're going to score because they're going to have randomly some guy wide open running into the flat or some guy wide open running across the middle of the field. That doesn't just happen because they have all these elite route runners out there. In fact, the opposite. The receiving core is completely shredded. It happens because the offensive play caller schemes guys open. So I don't know why Kafka struggles so much to just take some plays out of that Kansas City playbook. It seemed like he did it last week. That shovel pass to Theo Johnson, that felt very Travis Kelce-esque. So we need to do more things like that. Get the tight ends involved, like Adriana said, but also scheme your guys open. I think to the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, where was it Kadarius Toney scored that touchdown where he was schemed open in the flat, right? I mean, it's so easy. You just have a rub route over on the right side and let your quarterback make a quick throw. You can even throw mesh concepts in there where you just make the guys run into each other. One of them's bound to be open when you're facing man coverage. So there's so many ways that an offensive coordinator can scheme players open, and that's what they need to try and do. Make it easy for the quarterback to just read, react, and throw it to the open guy, or just play that hard-nosed football and just hand it off to Skattebo. I think it's really just a matter of the Giants overcomplicating things, getting too cute with the play calling, and needing in many ways just to simplify it down to the most rudimentary ways of getting into the end zone. And oftentimes that's just going to be handed off to your powerful running back. So that's what I think the Giants can do. And I'm hoping against a bad defense like this, they do convert their red zone opportunities.
You made a great point, Anthony. I'm thinking the same thing. Why don't you bunch your receivers and run mesh concepts or rub routes? Because down there, they're not going to call offensive pass interference. You got three guys inside of 5 yards. Eventually, somebody's going to run into somebody else, and you're going to be wide open. Or the shovel pass is something you don't expect, and the Chargers were not expecting it. It worked perfectly. But also down here, man, I say Russ, Jackson Dart can run. You can do a lot of things. A play action down here, RPO play action down here where your tight end is wide open in the back of the end zone. I'm not saying any of our tight ends are Travis Kelce in their prime, but how many times is Kelce wide open in the end zone? How many times is, like you said, Anthony, the Chiefs are always wide open in the end zone. Some guys always just, you have three guys lined up. The guy in the very inside, you have two guys run out and slant. The other guy just kind of goes to the side and he's wide open. Why don't they do that? Why don't they run a bubble screen down there and just get their guy out in space and let them make some guy miss and get 4 yards? You can just hand the ball off to Skattebo. I just love Skattebo. I can't help it. That guy is just a damn football player. That guy wants to kill everything moving. It doesn't matter if he's blocking, running. It don't matter. Cam Skattebo, he's like Bobby Boucher. He's just going to hit anything, Oh, it must be open up a can of whoop ass, as they say. That's what he wants to do. And not only does he want to open up the can of whoop ass, he wants to take the can and bash over the fucking head with it. That's what Skattebo does. So he gives you that energy without question. The Giants have a lot of options they can use down there. So why they can't scheme guys open or why they can't get more creative down there and not be so predictable is kind of beyond me. Because, like you said, Anthony, he was in Kansas City. They're one of the best at doing this. So he's got to get better at this. If the Giants can become better in the red zone, and they can't be worse, but they can be consistent and score 50% inside the 10-yard line touchdown, 60%. It would go a long way because your defense is going to keep you in these games. So instead of getting 3, if you're getting 7, that's a massive difference when you have a defense like the Giants have. So I'm anxious to see what they do. I think the playbook will start to, they'll start to expand it as Jackson Dart gets more experience. But I definitely want to see them capitalize in the red zone when they're down there. They have got to get touchdowns. They got to put the Saints away early, and they got to cruise to victory. It'd be nice to have a rocking chair game for once. We don't get many of them here with the New York Giants. So we'll see what happens. Before we get to our sponsor and your questions in the chat, Anthony, how much you love Cam Skattebo. Got to take some time for Cam. Got to do it. Got to do it. My guy. Listen, man, I'm old, right? I'm old, okay? Anybody in this chat that's my age or a little older, I compare 44, I say was a perfect number that I got because John Riggins was like that. John Riggins is a Hall of Fame running back. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He was the same thing. He wasn't the fastest guy, but man, one guy wasn't taking John Riggins down, and he was going to punish you when he hit you. So what do you think about Skattebo? What's that energy like?
I mean, I think it's exhilarating. It's the energy that this fan base, I think, really needed right now was just a guy that everyone can rally around. There's no controversy with this kid. There's no reason to dislike him. Everybody loves Cam Skattebo. I think even when the Giants selected a quarterback in this year's draft, it was, well, why didn't they select the other quarterback? When they selected Malik Neighbors, it was, why didn't they select the other receiver? And then Malik Neighbors went to a concert when he had a concussion and gave fans a reason to just dislike him all of a sudden. It's never going to happen with Cam Skattebo. Everybody loves him, and everybody's going to continue to love him. That's just how it is. And it's really just because of the personality that he possesses, the way it's emblematic of Giants fans and the football that they want to see. That's the football that Cam Skattebo plays. And it's awesome, and it's really effective. Right now, he's the number one highest graded running back in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. He's been put on a clinic by all of their gradings and metrics. And really, when you watch the tape or you just watch the games on Sundays, you can see it, the extra effort that he puts into every single rep. Every time he touches the football, he's falling forward. Most of his yardage is coming after contact. He doesn't give up on a single play, and he puts all effort in to every pass blocking rep. And I think that is so commendable and needs to be highlighted more. Anytime he's asked to pick up a blitz, he is going balls to the walls to pick up that blitz. And on the Jackson Dart touchdown run blocking, he put the work in. Like, he doesn't care. Put him anywhere, ask him to do whatever, and he's going to do it with a 100% energy and effort. And that's why everybody loves Cam Skattebo, and that's why I think he's going to be a really good player for the Giants for many years to come. It's just all heart, all effort, and that's really, like I said, emblematic of New York and New York fans.
Yep. Oh, John, what do you think of our young hammer?
He is like so much better than I even thought he was going to be. Like, when they got him in the draft, I was so excited and there was so much to love about him. But I feel like since he's been a Giant and we've gotten to see all these hysterical clips of him just being a literal psychopath, I'm like, what is there not to love about this kid? Him and Jackson Dart are besties. He presents Jackson Dart with the Nickelodeon MVP award. The way that they're like always together, that the video, I don't know if you guys saw today, of all the players doing their best Skattebo impression.
I tweeted that one out because that was hilarious.
Oh my God. I just feel like him and some of the young guys have done a really good job of bringing a different energy to this team. And the thing that I love so much about him and what I love so much about Brian Burns is they leave everything on the field. There is not a single rep that they come to the sidelines where you're like, oh, was he like not trying that hard or not giving effort or confused, didn't know what to do, whatever. There's none of that. The two of them, 100% of the time, they know where they need to be. They know what they're supposed to be doing, and they get the job done. And he's just been like so much better than I even expected him to be. And I was freaking out, so excited when they drafted him. And I just feel like he's been on the team for a couple months. We missed him a lot in the summer due to his injury. But now that he's in and he's playing, I'm like, I can't believe we have this kid for another 3 years. Like, this is just the beginning of what we're going to see from him. And I just think it's only going to get better. I love him so much. I'm like, I think I have to get a Scat jersey now.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting one. I'm wearing that shit to the game too, because this is my type of player. Again, older, grew up in the 80s. It is emblematic of Giants football, Anthony. You're right. The New York Giants fan base, we're a lunch pail, blue collar people. That's what New Yorkers are. We're hustlers. We give 100% effort. We don't try to take shortcuts. We love hard-working lunch pail guys. That's what that 86 one. They call them the lunch bunch or whatever the hell. Like, I forgot exactly. They were the big blue wrecking crew, but they also called them something else because they're kind of the working man. That's what Scat is. He's not going to run by you. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the tallest guy, but he's a 100% effort guy. You can't teach effort. You either have that in you or you don't. And like you said, every play, whether he's asked to block, whether he's asked to catch, pick up a blitz, run block, run the football, whatever it is, he wants to give you every single bit of him on every single play. And that is why the fan base has grown so attached to him, because those are the players we love to see. There's no question about it. And I've told this story before. Watching Cam Skattebo in that Peach Bowl, my wife, who is not a football person at all, was watching that game and he goes, that guy is really good. He killed Texas. And Texas had one of the best defenses in the country, killed them. I mean, Arizona State almost pulled the upset because of Cam Skattebo. And I just remember saying to her, boy, I'd love the Giants to get that guy. And I'm thinking maybe he's a second-round pick. I mean, I don't know because I didn't watch Arizona State. But that game, he really popped off the screen to me. So when we got to the fourth round and he was still there and we got him, I was very happy about that, without question. And then to go to the next round, then get Marcus Bowe, who I would have been happy in the fourth round too. I'm like, Joe Shane destroyed day 3. He killed day 3. I feel like Joe Shane's done a much better job here the last couple of years. I know people still want to get on his case, but I feel like he's gotten better every year. And that's what you want to see from your GM. You want to see them avoiding mistakes and learning from them and going this way, as opposed to kind of what Jerry Reese did, where he kind of went the other way. So I got to give him a lot of credit for getting Skattebo. I think it's great. And yeah, man, I love that kid. I mean, he makes you want to run. You're sitting there on Sunday watching, like, yeah. I mean, that's what he wants you to do, you know. So you gotta love the kid. I mean, he's amazing. And Jackson Dart, same type of thing. It's a different energy from the Giants, you know, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The wins are going to come, and then it'll be even more fun, without question. So that brings us to the end of the first segment of Giants Collective. As always, this portion brought out to you by our friends at SeatGeek. Again, if you want to go watch Cam Skattebo run through somebody's fucking face, go into the description, click the link. Use that promo code Giants Collective 10 for 10% off your tickets at SeatGeek. Let's hear from them. 80 seconds back after this. What's going on, guys and gals? You looking for a fun activity? You want to get out of the house? You need something to do? Are you looking for a great gift idea? Well, if so, look no farther than the sponsor of Giants Collective, which is SeatGeek. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There's more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Giants season is underway. And say you want to check out Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders at MetLife Stadium? Well, it's easy. Just go to SeatGeek, scroll around, look for the tickets that you want, and SeatGeek's going to have your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. That's good. The red dots, well, it's not so good. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use the code Giants Collective for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code Giants Collective. Make sure you click that link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring Giants Collective, and let's go Giants! That's right, let's go Giants indeed! Let's get to your questions in the chat. Big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this portion of Giants Collective. You can go to Sleeper. It's the fastest growing app there is, over 10 million users. You can play daily fantasy, WNBA, NBA, college football, college basketball, all that good stuff. You can have as low as $1 entries. It only takes 30 seconds to make an entry, going up to 1,000 times your cash. It is a lot of fun to play. If you're going to use Sleeper, make sure that you use the promo code HMA. Again, that the link's in the description. You get a 100% match deposit bonus up to $100. And they have just added a new promo. Let me look this up because I don't have it. Where's my promo? I should have had this ready to go. There it is. There's a new promo with Sleeper. You get a free $20. No deposit required. You just got to sign up for it. You get a free $20 for sign up for Sleeper. And if you're a first-time user, you can still enter that promo code and get a free $100. You can get up to $120. You can't lose that way. So free money's always good. Check out Sleeper. Appreciate you being here. Let's get to these things. Chislo, thank you. Yanks dub tonight and Giants dub on Sunday, please. That'd be great. About ready to do this game, so I'm going to probably die a few times as I do every Yankee game. But yes, that would be Amazing. Let's go Yankees. I think we're all Yankee fans in here. Chris is the lone Mets fan, so we're let's go Yankees. Let's go. Rich, thank you. He says 2 touchdowns, passing 1, rushing touchdown, 410 yards, 65 rushing, 40-10 Giants.
Wow.
If
I love that.
that happens, yeah, Jackson Dart will be all over the place. They'll be calling him Josh Allen if he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I will take half of this. I'll take 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, 210 yards on the ground, and 20-10 Giants. I'll be happy with that. Just win, baby.
I know.
Just win. Chris, thank you, buddy. He says Theo Johnson has good chemistry with Dart last game. Can we expect him to be a playmaker moving forward? I hope so. I picked up Theo for my fantasy team. What do you think? How much more do you think Theo gets involved in the pass game now that Malik Neighbors is injured?
I think we definitely see a lot of him. This front office loves Theo. All I've heard from anyone who is even remotely close to the building is that last year they thought they got a steal, that they were able to even get him. There's so many things that they love about him, this, that, and the other. And then, he got injured last year, right as he was kind of hitting his stride. But I think he's going to be a key focal point to this offense. I think back to, when we saw Bellinger his rookie year, when he had such a great year for the Giants. I think that we're going to see Theo get into that this year. Now, knowing that Neighbors is out, I think they don't really have a choice. And all we've heard too is, Dable loves the tight ends. He loves to get them involved, blah, blah, blah. So I expect to see a lot more Theo. I personally would like to see a lot of Daniel Bellinger as well. But they seem to have this like internal love of Theo. So I absolutely expect him to have a lot more targets than he's had the first 4 weeks.
What do you think, Anthony? How much bigger of a part of the offense can Theo Johnson be with Malik Neighbors being out for the year?
Definitely a bigger part. He hasn't been much of a part of the offense over the last several weeks. Obviously, he had the touchdown last week, but it was on a quick shovel pass from 2 yards out. But I think the reason why Theo Johnson's role will expand is actually not as contingent on Malik Neighbors being out of the lineup. It's more on Jackson Dart being in the lineup. Those two are best friends. They hung out all summer long, all throughout the offseason. They got really close. I watched Jackson Dart's, there was a YouTube video. It was like a vlog, basically. It was go around with him while he went to the barber shop. He went and he toured some apartments and he did all sorts of stuff. And Theo Johnson was with him and they were hanging out and they were just cool and they're good buddies. So I think that would be the reason to me why Theo Johnson's going to get the ball more, is because Jackson Dart trusts him, not only on the field, but off the field. And that's only going to strengthen his trust on the field. When he needs to make a throw into traffic, he's going to throw it to Theo. When he's going to, try and change something at the line of scrimmage, he might change it to get Theo open. So I just think there's going to be more opportunities for Theo, knowing that the quarterback really likes him and really wants to get him the football. And I even think we saw a glimpse of that last week. Brian Dable mentioned it in the postgame press conference, the first down throw to Theo Johnson at the end of the game to ice it. That was something that Jackson Dart and Theo Johnson discussed beforehand, before the game. They said, hey, if you see this coverage look, don't run that route all the way, sit down in the middle of the field so I can hit you there. Theo Johnson remembered that, did it, put practice into play, and that's how they got that first down at the end of the game to seal the win. So you're already seeing the chemistry of those two in just his first start, Jackson Dart's first start, that chemistry already showing up and making a major difference on the field. And that's why I think Theo Johnson's going to get more touches throughout the season.
It's funny because, the Giants, not recently, but in years past, the tight end was a big part of what they did. The tight end down the seam was a big part of what they did. I mean, I go back to the Mark Bavaro days, but you saw with even guys like Martellus Bennett, Jeremy Shockey, even Kevin Boss, they were always an integral part. They weren't like the biggest part of the offense, but they were an important part where they would move the chains. They would get that catch on 2nd down and 9 for a first down or 3rd down and 6. You would find them, or you'd play action pass, and you can get a guy like Theo behind a linebacker if the linebackers bite up, because Theo runs a 4.57 and he's a big target. So we also mentioned last week how Rust wasn't really a guy that would throw in the middle of the field. Well, Dart doesn't have that problem. At 6'2", he can see over the lineman a lot better. So, yeah, I would expect Theo Johnson to be a much bigger part of this offense. As you both mentioned, the Giants brass loves this kid. They think very highly of him. And Adriana's point, I would also like to see Daniel Bellinger involved in the passing game as well. There's no reason you can't do 2 tight end sets and use them as weapons. The Patriots did it for years with Gronk and Hernandez. So, I mean, I'm not saying they have to be the focal point, but you don't really there's not really a number one guy right now. I mean, Theo Johnson could end up being the number one guy. Bavaro was in 86, so you never know. But he's definitely got to be a part. If we're going to pass the ball, Theo's got to be a part of it. There's no question about it. I think he will be going forward. So I think you'll see more play calls for Theo Johnson. Wouldn't be surprised to me if he had like 6 catches in this game. They'll probably target him early and often. Why not use some safe throws to get your guy in a rhythm? And good safe throw is always a safety blanket, security blanket to your tight end, 6 yard out, 6 yard in, whatever. And then let those big guys run with the football. We'll see what happens. Our guy Tudo. He loves Cam. If anybody embodies Cam Skattebo, it's Tudo, who wants to also run through someone's fucking face and then back over him with a truck. That's our guy Tudo. He says, massive respects to Giants, Italian live streams, king to the Giants, YouTube, and all diehard Giants fans in America. Greetings from our entire club in Italy. Tudo, good to see you, buddy. As always, hope you're doing well. And put some traction on somebody's face without question. Tudo. Michael, thank you. Says, thoughts on Penix stealing your name, talking Giants. I don't think they ever did that. When Chris and I, so this is how that happened. Chris and I started doing Giants podcasts in 2018, like the middle of 2018. It was right before the bye week. It might have been during the bye week. But we didn't really have a name. And somebody came up with Chris and the Bad Dog, kind of playing Mike and the Mad Dog. I think the Talking Giants was always, it actually was. Our first ever podcast was actually taped, and then we did it live, but it said Talking Giants. So I don't think that they knew who we were. Chris and I were just starting pretty much. Chris had really just started. And at that time, I mean, I only had a couple thousand subscribers, so it's not like my channel was, as well known as it is now. I don't think they looked at it and go, well, let's take their name. Some people have accused us of taking their name, and I'm like, that's not what happened. But it is what it is. He didn't steal our name. We didn't steal their name. We didn't know each other when this happened. So, that is what it is. But they definitely didn't. It's not like they looked and go, oh, let's take that. No. I did have somebody steal my tweet, though. That was pretty funny. When I said, come up with a nickname for these, Dart and Skattebo. And then I saw somebody didn't retweet my tweet, just made it his own tweet. I'm like, what a piece of shit. How are you going to steal somebody's tweet, for crying out loud? But that's Twitter. Michael, thank you. He says, Pat Leonard questioning Rivardo's not really. He questioned your knowledge. I mean, it is Pat the Rat. What's up with that, Anthony? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, what happened?
No beans.
I don't know anything about this. This is news to me. So hopefully someone can fill me in the comment section, because I don't even know what happened.
That's good.
I've been sleeping the majority of the last 2 days trying to recover from this head cold or whatever virus I have. So whatever Pat Leonard said didn't make it through to my dreams.
That's okay. Anthony, we all question Pat Leonard's knowledge. So
that we do.
What it is. Pat the Rat doing what Pat the Rat does. He even looks like a rat. The guy even looks like a freaking rat. Nobody likes Pat Leonard. Nobody. Nobody likes Pat the Rat. Nobody likes that guy.
I'm always amazed that he has not had his access revoked for some of the questions that he asked. I'm like, I think everyone is just used to him at this point, and it's not through his own channels, it's through the post or whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, man, the Giants want to give us content creators shit. Meanwhile, they allow Pat Leonard to come into the building 7 days a week, 6 months a year. Okay.
They don't give us shit. I think that's actually funny. And I always say it's because they're threatened. I mean, that's the way I look at it. They're threatened because, listen, for me anyway, I don't need to be professional. Fuck that. I can say what I want. I can do what I want. I can say what I want. I don't have anybody to answer to. The Giants can't revoke my access. I don't have any access to the Giants. So I'm playing with house money here. And they don't like that because I can say what I want. And if I make them look bad, or I have a tweet or a post or something that I know just as much as them, so I'm going to go, oh, I want to check that guy out. And if that happens and they lose clicks to those content guys, it makes them look bad. They don't like that. So I think that's why some of us get blocked. I think that's why they try to diminish what we do on here. But believe it or not, you don't have to have access to the Giants locker room for the Giants players to understand how the game is played. Contrary to their beliefs, some of their beliefs. They're not all like that, but some of them are. And, just because you get to stand next to Dexter Lawrence doesn't mean you know more than some of us do. It's just not the way it goes. But you know what? Fuck them. Don't talk shit about Anthony. You got to deal with me, rat, because I'll go off on your ass. I don't care. I'll run through your fucking face. SPP Williams. Chris ain't here tonight. So our guy SPP. Thank you, buddy. He says, happy collective day. Bradshaw in 44. Skattebo, so good. Which receiver do you think will step up the most? It's a good question. Which receiver do you expect to take the biggest step forward?
I think it'll be Darius Slayton because it's been Darius Slayton in the past. Every time we've had an opportunity for somebody to step up, Darius Slayton always does step up. So I'm expecting him to settle back into a role that he's been in before. Nobody else in this offense has played that number one receiver role except for Darius Slayton. He had a career high 770 yards in 2023, and that was coming after a 2022 season where he wasn't as much of a focal point in the offense. He's been phased out of the offense before, and he's bounced back, and he's found a way to rise to the occasion. So if I'm betting on who will step up, it's going to be Slayton. But when you're looking at the other receivers, you would like to see Jalen Hyatt step up more for sure. And you also acknowledge Wan'Dale Robinson is in a contract year, so he has everything to gain by stepping up. He can earn himself a lot of money if he steps up throughout the rest of the season. But Slayton's been in this situation before. He hasn't seen the ball a lot so far this season, but they're going to rely on him, I think. He's the veteran in the room, and he's been through some crap before with this team. And he's a captain, so I think that he's going to be the guy that steps up in this receiving core.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of Wan'Dale this week, but it basically is wide open for Darius to be the big playmaker for the deep ball and things like that with leak out. And I'm sure that, with all the experience that Darius has, and he's worked with Jackson Dart quite a bit at this point, that he probably feels like they have a good relationship, and, Dart is going to be able to rely on him to be in the right place too.
Darius Slayton's going to have to be the guy to step up. He is the veteran. He has been a consummate professional. He's a captain. You would expect him to take the step up. He has shown he could do it before. Even in Daniel Jones's rookie year, he was the most reliable receiver. He has had a couple of years where he went over 700 yards and had, I forget how many touchdowns he had his rookie year. Might have had 6. I forget what it was. But I also tweeted out today, I picked him to have 1,000-yard season. And I know we got off to a slow start. I still think he's going over 1,000 yards. You can call me crazy. But I've been called that before. I am crazy. And I'm going to say this because I'm crazy. I think Jalen Hyatt, come on, baby. Come on. Make everybody else a believer. I know this kid I know he can play. I know he can do it. I know he can freaking do it. We just need a couple big ones. Like those Deshaun Jackson numbers. 2 catches, 83 yards and a touch. Just that's all we need from him. Just the threat of this guy can burn us for an 80-yard touchdown. That's all he needs to be. He doesn't need to be Malik Neighbors. He just needs to be the guy that they drafted him to be. He's got to step up. Because you talk about Wan'Dale Robinson in a contract year, man, this is going to be Jalen Hyatt's career if he don't get his shit together. So Wan'Dale's going to get signed one way or the other. He's proven enough. Hyatt hasn't proven anything yet. So he's got the most to benefit from, I think. And he's got the most to prove. So that's going to be my guy. I'm going to stick with it. And everybody can tell me it aged like milk in a couple weeks. Sublight. Thank you. It says, love all your shows, guys. These rookies are doing the impossible. They're actually making the Giants likable. They're likable.
Yeah.
They're likable. Cam's fun. They're fun without question. And Brian Burns, I actually, when they were imitating Skattebo, that was one thing. Abdul, I know you watch your show. No more backflips, buddy. Don't do that shit. That's and even Brian Burns thought there was no backflips. But I like Brian Burns rolling the ground and then it's such a great video. It's amazing what a win will do. Get a second one. Keep the ball rolling. Danny, thank you. Cam Skattebo played at Sacramento State before he went to Arizona. I had no clue about that. I didn't know much about Skattebo until really I said that Peach Bowl. That made me say, wow. I had to go back and look at him like, damn, man, he had good numbers all the time, like at Arizona State the whole time he was there. And you could tell even then, it's the way he ran, like just a tough guy to tackle. Wants to deliver punishment, which is good. We want our offense to be aggressive too. Judo, thank you, buddy. Please suit me up in giant skis. I promise there won't be any quarterbacks, ball carriers, O-lines will walk off the pitch on their own powers, mate. Case closed. I would like to see Skattebo go against Tudo. That'd be a good one.
That would be a good matchup.
That'd be a good one right there.
If Tudo was on the field, we would have 100% success rate in the red zone. I feel very confident about that.
Yeah, let Tudo run the ball. Be behind one or the other.
He could help with the tush push, anything. He'd be able to help this team out.
Tudo. I think that thumbnail, I think that Skattebo needs that shirt. That's him. Just call him SAF. Savages. Rich, thank you, buddy. Got to make Papa and Leonard apologize. New York, New Jersey style. Actually, I looking at what Bob Papa said, like, I don't think that was really, I don't think Bob Papa did it in a derogatory. It's just the way he said one of them content guys, that just stuck in my head. So I use it all the time. I just one of them content guys. But if you watch the whole clip, he really doesn't say anything bad. He just mentions that he, again, kind of doesn't have access. But I think anybody that knows Bobby Skinner knows damn well Bobby knows just as much, if not more, than the experts when he breaks down film. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's very smart. He's very knowledgeable. He does talk to players, and he's got his own show. The guy knows what the hell he's doing. And maybe someday he will actually have complete access. He should have it over Pat Leonard. I can tell you that right now.
He should be in the offensive line room. Like, I feel like he's so knowledgeable about the offensive line, having played it before and everything like that. Like the breakdowns that he does. I'm like, get this kid in the building. Maybe he'll teach them something.
Yep. I agree. Get him in here. Derek says, catch the damn football should be on the bulletin board for wide receivers. We do suffer with a lot of drops.
Yes.
A lot of drops. I don't know why. You know, it's I have to look. I didn't do my picks for sleeper yet this week. I have to see what like Jalen Hyatt's numbers are, because I might have to take the over on Jalen Hyatt. Well, you can take the over or under on Jalen Hyatt. You can take the over or under on Cam Skattebo, Jackson Dart, whatever player you'd like to do. If you want to join Sleeper, make sure you enter that promo code HMA to get a 100% match deposit bonus on your first deposit all the way up to $100. And no deposit required. They have a promotion going right now. Just sign up and get a free $20 at Sleeper. You can't beat it. Let's hear from them. 30 seconds. Back after this.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Charles says Bob Papa seems like a nice guy. Bobby Skinner is honestly obnoxious and think he knows more than he does. I don't know. I've talked to Bobby a number of times. I never got obnoxious from him. I don't know. It's not a word used to describe him.
Yeah, I could kind of see what he means by that. And I think we're probably getting off topic here. like, we don't want to throw anyone under the bus. Because we've all had, I'm sure, good encounters with everyone, but I can see what he means by that. I think if you listen to Talkin' Giants when it was Justin and Bobby in the past, I got a little bit of that sense. But I think also if you've spent that much time as an offensive lineman and you spend that much time and have the knowledge to break down film and stuff, like, it's probably fair to say you know a lot more than the average football fan, like more than I do, obviously, when it comes to offensive lines and stuff like that. So I enjoy watching the film breakdowns because I'm like, I'm always learning something.
Same. He knows more than I do. So I just sit there and watch and go, okay, I'm learning something there, learning something there. But everybody has their, I mean, listen, it's social media. Some people are going to like you. Some people aren't going to like you. That's just the way it goes. You know, all you can be is yourself. That's really it. They like you, great. If they don't, great. Who cares? You know, Whale says, Scott is a player. Dude is like a steam train. Reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, he was a bowling ball. Maurice Jones-Drew. Was
very similar players. The only thing with Scat is he ran like a 4.65 40 at the combine, and I don't think it's really hampered him so far, but I wonder if he's going to have a breakaway run this season, when that happens and what it looks like, because he hasn't had one yet. His longest run so far is only 21 yards. And I'm trying to see, does he have the ability to rip off a 50-yard run and beat everybody to the house? Does he have that speed? Because a 4.65 40-yard dash doesn't necessarily indicate that he has breakaway speed. That's really slow by a starting running back standards, but it hasn't held him back at all so far. But what's it going to look like when he does have a breakaway run opportunity? Does he get tripped up from behind, or does he somehow just stiff arm them and run backwards and find a way into the end zone with all of his power and determination? That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Like I said, I could see that. I might have even mentioned that when he was drafted. It kind of reminded me of the way. I mean, if anybody knows bowling balls, it's me. I have 42 of them laying over here, for Christ's sakes. But like I said, I felt like John Riggins is more, because again, I'm an old school guy, so I remember John Riggins with the Redskins back in the day, and Skattebo, but Skattebo's a better receiver out of the backfield. And yeah, there's something to be said about a 4.65, but you know, Victor Cruz was not a really fast guy from what I remember. He might have been a 4.5, 4.6 guy. I don't remember him having breakaway speed. Jerry Rice never had breakaway speed. He was a 4.6. Of course, 4.6 in 1986 was different than it is now. But nobody caught Victor Cruz from behind. It always seemed like if he got out ahead of you couldn't get him. So maybe Skattebo does get caught from behind. Maybe he doesn't. Let's get the 50-yard run, Anthony, and see exactly how that goes. So with that said, that'll bring us to the close of another edition of Giants Collective. Hopefully we get a W on Sunday, and we do the show on Tuesday. We are 2-3 because 2-3 got something, and then of course it's a short week that week, so we might have to switch. It might have to come on earlier because the Giants play Thursday night next week. They have the short week, right? Next week's the short week. They play a week from tonight. I got that right?
Yeah.
So you might have to do this at like 6. So we're out of here so everybody can get settled in and watch us kick the shit out of the Eagles.
I'm going to be at the game, so
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll have to move that around. I think that's a Giants only Thursday night game of the year. So we won't have to do that. I'm pretty sure that's the only one. Again, big shout outs to whoops, that's not the right one. Where is my that's what I wanted, right? Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. Big shout out to Sleeper and SeatGeek for sponsoring Giants Collective. Again, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when we go live. Always appreciate you tuning in. You can check us out on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, I'm going to let you go. Let's go Yankees. And of course, let's go Giants. For Adrian and Anthony, it's bad diggity dizzle. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the football game if you're not going to watch the baseball. We'll see you on Tuesday. Let's go Giants. And run through somebody's fucking face. We out of here. Peace.